dedicated that book to Hannah Arendt, who was not living at that time, Jürgen Habermas, Hans-Georg Gadamer, and Richard Rorty. I think the philosophical significance can be put on several different levels. The first level was this, is that, look, in this book, the normal way of looking at philosophy very frequently is in terms of very distinct schools or approaches which are considered and different and sometimes even hostile to each other. Thus, for example, there had been a big dispute and a famous dispute between Habermas and Gadamer, sometimes called the Habermas-Gadamer controversy. There's been a lot of disagreement and dispute between Habermas and Rorty. And for many people, there would be the attitude that these four figures are completely antithetical. They have nothing to do with each other, and anything they have to do with each other would be mainly critical. I did not see it that way. I saw that there was tremendously significant overlapping themes. I don't want to underestimate differences, but everybody stresses differences. I wanted to bring out the kinds of continuity, and that had a systematic significance for me, because I was trying to argue that there are ways in which you could look upon what was taking place at that time, and I think it continues to take place, is a kind of shift in our understanding of dialogue and rationality, and that you could look upon these as different kinds of voices that I was attempting to weave together. So that would be, you might say, its immediate philosophical point. There are other ways in which it is relevant. I do take friendship very seriously. I think it's an old theme in philosophy. And it has a great philosophical significance. If I had to characterize a style, my own style in philosophy, it very frequently is an attempt to really listen to what other people are saying and to extract what I take to be sort of right and the truth in it, and then to be critical where I think there are limitations. So I frequently get a lot of praise of how, when I write about people, I write about them so sympathetically, but I think that that's a way of really getting, the reason I do that is not just because I want to be a cipher, but because I want to try and hear their voice, what it is that they're trying to say. And it seems to me that that's really sort of integral to the nature of real friendship. So I'm happy to say that on a personal level, these people were friends, but there's a kind of intellectual dimension to this, which I think sometimes goes against the grain of some of the stylized modes of doing professional philosophy today. What I mean by that is that Rorty's characterized it, but although I've done it myself, that really what became the style of analytic philosophy is an adversarial style, to argue like a lawyer. If you say something, my task is really to find the holes in it, to try and make you look like an idiot. But there's another style which I call the hermeneutical style, which is that, I might learn something from you. So what do I think you're trying to say? Now, you can't do that without trust, without a certain amount of imagination, and without a certain amount of generosity in terms of it. And those are important for friendship.